All right, y'all. I'm almost getting there. Y'all, I'm sorry. Oh boy, I had a long day, y'all. So I'm sorry, but I'm getting here. Oh boy. Hopefully, y'all can see me pretty good. I'm gonna move up the camera. I have a call-in number, so y'all can call into the show. Give me a second. Let me set everything up, y'all. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Let's see. I hope the volume is pretty good. We can tonight, y'all. We can talk about anything y'all want to talk about. Of course, I do want to discuss the nature of the action. Um, I have I've been working on an ebook called "It's All Admiralty," but I really don't have time to finish it, y'all. I'm sorry. I just it seems like I don't have enough time to do anything. Let me give me a second, y'all. Let me give y'all this call-in number. I gotta find it. Get it on my laptop right quick. Where is it at? I had a call-in number for y'all. Let me set that call-in number up for y'all, and then we'll go from there. Cause I want y'all to be able to call in tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna add the call-in number to the chat, and we'll go from there. Call-in number. Sorry about that. Let's see. I almost got it, y'all. I almost got it. Where is it at? When you call in, just press 1, and we can just go from there. We can talk. We can talk about anything y'all want to talk about. Hope everybody's having a good night. By the way, that's the call-in number. I'll be posting that call-in number throughout the night, as we live on the channel, and we'll go from there. Let me move my camera a little bit more. I don't think y'all can see me there. I'm gonna move it a little closer. I think that's better. Okay, y'all. Sorry about that. Uh, if y'all haven't already, please go ahead, hit that like button if you don't mind. And I'm here. I'll be here until about 6:30, y'all. Um, so I want to tonight. I just start talking until I get somebody with a question. The call in number is on the screen, y'all. So if y'all want to call in, just call in, and we can go from there. Sorry, I got stuff everywhere, all over my office desk. Um, let's see. Okay. I'll be monitoring the call in on Blog Talk Radio from time to time. The call in number is 563-999-3602. You call in, if you have a question, just press 1. And if I can answer your question, I answer your question. But tonight I want to discuss the nature of the action. How many of y'all know what y'all are asking the court when you ask for to be informed of the nature of the action? How many of you know that? How many of you know what that means? If you don't know, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. The nature of the action deals with the jurisdiction in which the case is being prosecuted on. It is my contention, and if y'all think I'm wrong about anything, that's fine. Just let me know, because I'm not right all the time. But anyway, it is my contention that the reason so-called criminal charges are taxes is because of the nature of the action. That's my contention. The nature of the action, it is admiralty. I have the ebook that I'm working on, which is I call it It's All Admiralty. I need to finish the other 42 section 1983 book too. But anyway, this ebook that I'm working on, in Admiralty courts, they had I want to say that they had about 4 or 5 different types of bonds, and these bonds, they required different conditions, or so to speak. The names of these bonds typically were in Latin. The names of them, so some of these names I can't even pronounce. But what I'm gonna do in the chat is I'm gonna copy and paste some of this stuff from my ebook into the chat so y'all can see this stuff for yourself. But I am under the impression that it is 100% admiralty. The reason I say that is because the nature of the action, and because they're using statutes, and because of these bonds. There are 3 types of common law bonds. There are only 3, okay? But in admiralty courts, there's like 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken, types of bonds. So what I did was I compared all of the admiralty bonds from the book that Yusuf recommended called Clerk's Praxis. And I compared those bonds with the statutory bonds of the state in which I am. And all of these bonds, they're very, very, very similar. They're statutory bonds. And the requirements for these bonds, the requirements for the statutory bonds it's like they're identical to the bonds in admiralty. That's why I say it's admiralty. It's all admiralty. That's why this video is called The Nature of the Action. So the nature of the action is admiralty. They'll never tell you that. I don't know why. For some reason, they just don't want to tell you what it is. And I think if they did tell you that, it would really cause a problem if they did disclose to you the nature of the action. That's what I think. I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste this right quick, y'all, into the chat. So where is it at? There's one. I have footnotes in here too. So what I'll do is I'll copy and paste the sentence, and then I'll copy and paste the footnote into here as well. Let's see. Okay. There's a footnote that comes along behind that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the chat. I wish y'all could see this stuff, man. I don't know how to. I'm limited as to what I can do right now because I haven't gotten another laptop yet. So let's see. This word right here. I should have just copied and pasted this word, but I'm gonna post this word right here. This word right here. Y'all can look that word up right here that I just posted. Look that word up. That is a Latin word. Look that word up. Now I've already looked it up, so I'm gonna copy and paste it and tell you what it means. I'm gonna post it into the chat so y'all can see this shit for yourself. It is admiralty. Everything these people are doing in this courtroom, this is my contention on it. Okay, these people are doing business with you. It is not the state in its sovereign capacity. It's not the state in its sovereign capacity because the state has no sovereign capacity. In my opinion, when you use the word state, it's referencing the people. The people or the state. You are an extension of the state's sovereignty. So if there is no people, there is no state. But there is a state called the state. I mean, there is a corporation called the state of, let's say the state of Georgia or whatever. This corporation is prosecuting your person. They filed a lawsuit against your person in this court for allegedly breaching public policy. Public policy does not apply to you. It's public policy. You private, it's public. It don't even make sense. It doesn't apply to you. It's not even law. Notice I said policy. In my opinion, if y'all think I'm wrong, I understand, whatever. But in my opinion, it is my contention that the term policy is corporate in nature. Policy. That's why they call them policy officers, or in other words, police officer. They are enforcing statutes, ordinances, regulations, and shit like that. You only enforce that shit on officers or employees of your corporation. Walmart has a policy. Walmart cannot enforce their policy on you if you are not an employee. Even if you are an employee, there's certain policies that they can't enforce on you because you're not an officer of that corporation. Do y'all see what I'm saying? The nature of the action is admiralty. It is all admiralty. That is what it is. I don't care what nobody says. I'm 100% sure, based on the research that I did, that it is admiralty. And they'll never tell you that. I don't know why they don't want to tell you, but they'll never tell you that. I've asked the judge this before. I went into the courtroom, played dumb. Your Honor, is this a civil or criminal action? He told me it's criminal or whatever. I said, thank you. Now, pursuant to the federal constitution, the 6th Amendment, whatever, I have the right, and I think it's Article 1, Section 13 of the Alabama Constitution. It's in your state constitution too. I have the right to know the nature of this action, So, Your Honor, can you please tell me for the record the nature of this action? Because, probably about 40 or 50, 60 years ago or whatever, all of these courts were separate courts. Courts of law, courts of equity, maritime, and and admiralty. These courts, the only two courts that I don't think were separate were the maritime courts and the admiralty courts. I think because they're pretty much the same thing, so I don't think they were separate. But all of these courts were separate courts. I'm gonna keep saying this for those of y'all who don't know. All of these courts were separate courts. So because they were separate courts, they had their own rules of procedure that they followed. There's only 3 common law bonds. Only 3. If you go and look at that video, let me see if I can find that video. I posted a video on here on my channel, and I think it's called Common Law Bonds versus Statutory Bonds. There's only 3 common law bonds, but here's what I did. I'm gonna repeat it again. I probably didn't even tell y'all all the way through, but anyway. For my state, what I did, I went and looked at this code right here. I'm gonna copy and paste the code into the section because if you're in Alabama, you need to know this. Where is it at? And I cite the case for it too. I'm trying to find this footnote for y'all. Where is it at? Okay, it goes down here. I'm gonna cite the there it is right there. It's footnote 7. There it is, right there. Let me copy and paste it. Bingo, right there. All right. Y'all can call into the show if y'all like. Okay, I don't know who that is. I have to call them. I'm live right now. Okay, y'all, listen. That case that I just posted, that case lists, let me see how many bonds it lists. All these bonds are admiralty bonds, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know. 4. I see 4 so far. Yeah, okay. That case right there lists 4 types of bonds. If you go and read that case, this is what it's going to say. I'm going to see if I can copy and paste it. This should be enough because I'm only limited to what I can copy and paste. On here, I'm gonna copy and paste this into the chat. That case right there. All of these bonds that I just posted right here, where it says there are 4 types of bail provided for in section 15-13-111 Alabama Code 1975. All of those bonds right there, all of them are very, very, if not identical to admiralty bonds. Every single one of them. They worded them different. Because in admiralty, they speak in a lot of Latin in admiralty. So I'm gonna see if I can find the Latin terms for these bonds. I think I have them in my book. I do. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It looks like I'm missing one. 1, 2, 3. me see. These stipulations within the bonds are of three sorts. Okay. I'm gonna post the Admiralty terms for these bonds now. And y'all need to look I'm telling y'all need to look these words up. Look these words up. I promise it's Admiralty, y'all. It's Admiralty. It is Admiralty. It's Admiralty, it's Admiralty, it's Admiralty, it's Admiralty. That's what it is. Damn, it's too much. I'm gonna have to take some of this out. I'm gonna have to post them one by one then. Also, attorneys in Admiralty, they're not called attorneys or lawyers or whatever. They're called proctors. That's what they call them. And a complaint in Admiralty is not called a complaint. It's called a libel. Like the term like libel and slander or something like that. They call it a libel. That's what they call it in Admiralty. And the person, the man or woman who files the complaint is called a libelant. See how it's very see how that's very similar to a complaint. Give me a second. Man, I wish I can post this stuff in here, y'all. It's Admiralty. Y'all can call into the show, man. 563-999-3602. Call in. And if you have any 42 Section 1983 lawsuit questions, we can get into that too. Also, if y'all don't mind, I want y'all to call in because I would like to hear some of y'all stories. If any of y'all have ever went into court, to try to ascertain the nature of the action, I want y'all to call into the show and just tell me your experiences and let everybody know. Let's see. I'm gonna have to delete some of this, y'all. I wish I didn't. I'm gonna have to because it's too much. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna post all of these Admiralty terms. I'm not gonna post the whole entire paragraph because it's not gonna let me do it. Here it is right here. Okay, here we go right here. Right here. I got it, y'all. All right. Now, y'all see those bonds right there? That 1, 2, 3, and 4, where you see the Latin terms at? Go and read those bonds. Go and read the definitions for those bonds, and go and read the definitions for the bonds that I just posted for this case in Alabama. Go and read those cases. I mean, go and compare those bonds. It's Admiralty. That's the nature of the action. The reason it's the nature of the action, they're using statutes, man. The Admiralty courts are civil law courts. Civil law is statutory law. Civil law is man-made law. That's what civil law is. Y'all don't believe me? Let me see if I can find this right quick, because I posted a case on that just to let y'all know. I want y'all to see this shit. It's Admiralty. It's Admiralty. It's Admiralty. That's the nature of the action. It's Admiralty. They civil law courts. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it this way. Here it is right here. I think this was a 9th Circuit case. Oh, it's 5th Circuit. There it is right there. I want y'all to see this too. This is from a case. What is this? This is from 2015. I want y'all to see this stuff, man, because when I do my research on this stuff, y'all. I do my research on it. Sometimes I go very into depth with my research, and sometimes I don't, because sometimes I just already know this stuff just by doing my research in the past. Y'all compare those bonds. Let me post this. Where is it at? It's gonna be right here. This is a 5th Circuit case right here. You can go and read this case. I'm gonna post the case, and I'm gonna post the case citation. Admiralty courts are civil law courts. Civil law is statutory law. Civil law is statutory law. That is man-made law. That's what they call it, just Justinian. It was derived from the Justinian period or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. If y'all have any questions, call into the show or post them below. Post your questions below. I'd rather y'all call into the show. There's a call-in number. It's 563-999-3602. I'll be checking to see if anybody wants to talk every now and then. So y'all call into the show. It is right here. That case I just posted, that's the case right there that tell you Admiralty courts are civil law courts. Civil law is statutory law. It's Admiralty. That is the nature of the action. The nature, when you asking what's the nature of the action, you're asking in what origin is this action derived from? What jurisdiction is this action being prosecuted under? That is what you're asking. The reason you're asking that is because different rules governs different types of jurisdictions. But what they did was they merged all of these courts into one court. And since they merged all of these courts into one court, they've also merged all of these rules that were separate together. That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. It's Admiralty. It's Admiralty. They can deny it. They can call you crazy. I don't give a damn what they say. It's Admiralty. The plaintiff always picks the jurisdiction. You can tell this Admiralty just by the fact that they're using statutes, or you can tell the nature of the action by what remedy that they're seeking. Because, so like for example, if you didn't have a remedy at law in a court of common law, if you didn't have a remedy at law, but your remedy was in equity, you would have to dismiss your case in the common law court, and you would have to go to a court of equity to get your remedy. Like equity is for when you don't have a remedy at all, and the law stipulates that you should have a remedy or some sort like that. Like say for instance, like if like you should be able to do this, but I don't think they're gonna let you do it because they just so fucking corrupt. But anyway, you know how you traveling down the road and you don't have, let's say you don't have license plates on your car because you're not driving, you're traveling, and you're using the roads in the ordinary course and manner, so forth like that, and they'll come and tow your car and stuff like that. They'll stop you, pull you over, whatever. When you would go to a court of equity, if you couldn't go to a court of law, you would go to a court of equity, and you would petition for an injunction to get them to stop doing that against you. That's what you would do. You would petition probably for some writ, a prohibition or something like that. That's what you would do. That's the whole function of a court of equity. That's what they do. Equity is just what's just, what's fair, and what's right under the facts and circumstances. That's what equity is. So they've merged all of these rules into one set of rules. So the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure governs actions at law, in equity, and in admiralty, in maritime. I've read cases on that. They've merged all this shit together. They just took it's like they just took some red dirt, some black dirt, and some white dirt, and they just mixed all this shit together or whatever. They just mixed everything together. And now you don't know which hat the judge is wearing. You don't know. So you don't know which rules are going to govern these proceedings. The nature of the action is the jurisdiction of the action. What's the jurisdiction? What jurisdiction is this case being prosecuted under? Y'all need to go and read, where's that case? So that case where I said Williams versus City of Montgomery from 1999. If y'all go and read that case, the citation says right here, there are 4 types of bail provided for in section 1513.111 Alabama Code 1975. Cash bail. And if you look down here, deposit right here, deposit is a cash bail. Sureties, you see this surety? Sureties is an admiralty term, man. Surety, that's a fucking admiralty term, man. Sureties. sureties by oath. By oath is just let me see. Judicial public bail, professional surety bond, property bail. The property bail, if I'm not mistaken, is a deposit. Matter of fact, let me show y'all that right now, because I saw a case on that. I'm gonna copy and paste this right here. When you pledge your property, that's like a deposit of some sort. When you're pledging your property as collateral for the post bail and so forth like that. Read that right there. It's Admiralty, man. It's Admiralty. What they are doing, if y'all haven't heard me say this already, this is just my contention only. This is what I believe that they're doing. The corporation called the state of whatever is suing you. Okay, they're filing a lawsuit against you. That is what they're doing. And they're claiming that your person breached public policy. Ask yourself this. If the Constitution does not apply to you, and it doesn't, because it doesn't apply to private citizens. So if the Constitution does not apply to you, and that is the supreme law of the land, then how the fuck can a statute lawfully apply to you? Ask yourself that without your permission. How can that statute lawfully apply to you? How and when did you become subject to the jurisdiction of your subjects, your public servants? They're your subjects. They public servants, they trustees. How did you become subject to the jurisdiction of your subjects? Ask yourself how. It's crazy, man. It's Admiralty. If you don't believe me, and if you've never done this before, go into court and play real dumb. Yusuf has told y'all how to do this a whole lot. I've heard the same argument that Yusuf used. The same one. Your Honor, pursuant to the 6th Amendment of the Federal Constitution, I have a right to know the nature and cause of the action. How to execute a bill in equity is a complaint. That's all it is. They just call it a bill. A bill, that's what it is. Like a bill in Admiralty is just a complaint. They just call it a bill in Admiralty. Just how to execute a bill in equity. I would say you would go to the whichever the court is. Give me a second. I would say you would go to the court of equity, whichever it is. I don't even think they have separate courts now. To be honest with you, you would have to go to probably a court of general jurisdiction or something like that, because they may do it somewhere. I know they don't do it here. They merged all these courts into one court here. So you would have to go to you would have to go to a circuit court, which is a court of general jurisdiction. And the court of general jurisdiction hears cases at law and equity, maritime, and what's that? At law, equity, maritime, and Admiralty. Yeah, those courts like that. So in my opinion, if you got a judgment, then you should be able to execute that judgment any way that you would execute it, any other judgment. You would you should be able to file. Once you get a judgment, you should be able to start filing liens. You should be able to start filing motions to compel them to answer questions or to disclose their assets to you, or you should be able to petition for injunctions against them based on your judgment in equity, or so on and so forth like that. You should be able to do all that. But I mean, if you already got a judgment in equity and the court has already ordered the defendant to do whatever they were supposed to do, and they don't do it, I mean, you can just hold them in contempt or something like that. I done lost my train of thought, y'all. If you haven't already, please go ahead and pound that like button. I really appreciate it. Back to what I was saying. If you don't believe that it's Admiralty, go to what was I gonna say? Go to court. Get you a traffic ticket or something like that. You'll learn that. That's how I learned. I learned by using traffic tickets. Traffic tickets taught me a lot. So I went to court and I was like, Your Honor, pursuant to the federal constitution and the state constitution, I have a right to know the nature of this action. So, because I don't know what's going on here, Your Honor. So I want to understand what's going on here. So if you don't mind, can you please tell me the nature of this action? Just play dumb, act like you don't know what the hell going on, and just play dumb and act so. Your Honor, can you please tell me the nature of this action? They gonna act like they don't know what the fuck you talking about. That's what they gonna act like. They gonna act like they ain't never heard what you talking about. What do you mean the nature of that? They like to call it statutory jurisdiction. That's what they like to call it. That's why in my video when I said what they call them, I think it was common law bonds versus Admiralty. But let me post that video right now for y'all. I'm gonna post it in the chat. Y'all gonna watch that video. In that video, I'm showing you the cases where they're telling you the 3 common law bonds, okay, and the Admiralty bonds. They're showing you this shit, and they tell you in this case, I'm sorry, in the book, that how you determine the nature of the action is by the elements of these bonds. Where is it at? Videos. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find this video and I'm gonna post it for y'all in the chat. Here it is, right here. I posted it about a month ago. Where is it at? Bingo, right here. Okay. All right. Watch that video. That link right there. Watch that video right there. If you open that book up and you look at that video, they call Admiralty bonds statutory bonds. That's what they like. When you say when you're trying to ascertain the nature of the action, they'll tell you some shit. They'll make up some shit. They'll say it's statutory jurisdiction. That's what I've heard them say. Statutory jurisdiction. Y'all know when I was in court one day, man, and I asked this judge something. I don't know what I asked him. I can't remember what I asked him, but I asked him something, and he opens this book up with the Code of Alabama 1975 or some shit like this. This is when I was in Alabama. He opens this book up, and he literally in open court on the record, he reads me a statute. When that judge did that, I said, "Did you just read me a statute?" I said, "Judges do not follow statutory procedure." That I ain't never seen that judge no more, y'all. When I said that, it's like he was just scared. He ain't say nothing else when I said it. He ain't say nothing when I said that. Because judges don't follow statutory procedure. They don't do that. They do not do that. Not Article 3 judges. They don't do that. Now, if you're in an administrative court, they do that. That's an agency there, and they're adjudicating public policy. How you determine the venue is based on where the injury occurred. So, for example, let's say if I'm in Florida, okay, and let's say I'm from Florida or whatever, but my rights were violated in Georgia, okay, I can't sue in Georgia. I have to go to it's a possibility that you can say that diversity jurisdiction. That shit is a little complicated, but jurisdiction basically, venue basically deals with which court has the authority to take cognizance and decide a case. So venue, I'm trying to see how can I explain this to you without confusing you, because it can be a little confusing, and I'm trying to see how to explain it to you. I tell you what, JL, if you don't mind calling to the show, because it's too much to talk about on here. I can't type it. So if you don't mind, please call into the show and press 1. The call-in number is 563-999-3602. Press 1, and I'll turn your microphone on, and we can talk like that. I think I'll be better able to assist you if you do that. That's right. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it right now. I'm gonna go in and find. Don't let these people confuse you, man. They not smarter than you, man. They just read, bro. That's all they do, JL. That's all they do. They just read. If you go to a law library and you go in there and you pick up a book off the shelf, they literally have the forms in these books to show you how these petitions are supposed to look. And they have, if you get you a corpus juris secundum or American jurisprudence or something like that, they have the laws annotated for you, the statutes, the case laws. All of this stuff is annotated for you. So in other words, it's you don't have to go through so much to get answers that you're looking for. Like, for example, if you wanted to know about a writ of habeas corpus, you would go into the law library and you would open a book probably called writs or something like that. You would turn to the section in that book that's called writs, and they'll have every type of writ in that book, and they'll tell you the purpose of the writ, how you can get the writ granted, the elements of the writ, so on and so forth like that. I'm about to post you one of the legal definitions for a bill in equity. And you can find this definition, something you can read. You should be able to find this definition. On here, I'm gonna post you a link to it right here. Do not let these people fool y'all. They are not smarter than y'all, man. They're not smarter than you, man. They're not smarter than you. They just read. That's it. That's all they do. That's all they do. Or they have somebody. That's why the reason why these people go to school is because, like, right now, y'all are in school. Y'all in school right now because some of y'all don't know this shit. So if you don't know, you either go and see somebody who do know, and they just teach you. That's it. You can learn this shit on the internet, man. You don't have to go to school for that shit. But I mean, the quality of your learning would probably be better if you went to school because they have the resources that I don't have. I'm not too far from a law library though. I'm not too far. You can if you have a question, just press 1 and I'll turn your microphone on and we can just go from there. Let's see. Sorry about that, y'all. Try not to make this stuff too loud. I posted, if you don't mind, JL, check out these. Well, let me see. Somebody's got a question now, so let me turn the microphone on. Thank you for calling into the show. How you doing?
What's going on, Supreme?
What's good, God? I'm good, man. How you doing?
All right, this is Rome. That's it.
Oh, okay. What's good, man? Man, look, it's good to finally hear from you, man.
Yeah, I've been working, trying to catch up, and then handling my other cases. Like, I got that one for paying taxes on your private land. I wanted to give some information for the pro se when you do file suits, how these, in better words, how these people want to respond and deny you your right to be heard in the court. What they try to do is motion to dismiss. We all know this.
Mm-hmm.
And when they motion to dismiss, they use their attorneys to do so. So let's say you file a lawsuit and they have 30 days to respond.
Mm-hmm.
My belief is that response must be an affidavit in response to your affidavit of facts on the record.
I would agree with that.
Be an attorney.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. The response can't be the attorney claiming, oh, my client has immunity this, has immunity that, X, Y, Z this, X, Y, Z that. What you do as a pro se, you look up the case Trinity versus Pellegro.
There's
What that does is it discredits the motion filed by the attorney because anything they say, they're not a witness to the case.
Yep.
They're not anybody involved in this case outside the attorney. So if they make statements, those are off the record. They don't count.
Yep.
You got to object to those.
Yep. You sure do. They can't. Only a competent witness can testify. If you're not a competent witness, if you don't have firsthand personal knowledge, you cannot testify. And they will try it though. They will try it.
And they hate you for it if you bring up that case.
Yeah, they will try it up. But see,
trying a lot where I'm at.
There's a that case is not like that. That's a principle. It's not just applicable in that jurisdiction where it was adjudicated. That's applicable everywhere. I've seen that case. I mean, I've seen cases very similar to that hold the same thing. And it doesn't just apply to attorneys. It applies to anybody who is not a witness with personal knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So therefore, my case, the treasurer that I try to sue for unlawful taxing my private land, my fee simple absolute land, he decided not to respond. He was arrogant. He sent his attorney. I made a motion, an objection, then I motioned for a default judgment order, which there's going to be a court date set. But I don't know what's going to happen from here on out. I don't know what other tricks up their sleeve. But according to what I know about law, I should win my case. The judge should rule in my favor. But I know how they act with their own kind, so I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, I don't blame. I don't blame you. But it's good that you're getting that experience, though. You know what I'm saying? It's very good.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Don't get discouraged by getting beat up by these courts. I've been beat up. I've done stupid things. I made so many arguments and brought so many things to the table that don't have, like you say, if it don't pertain to the case, don't bring it up.
Don't
that was
bring it up.
My first couple, I was bringing everything. My mama, my daddy, everything. But you go through a learning process.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I didn't know this stuff either, man, until one day it just clicked. I have a seminar. Somebody sent me this seminar. A guy named Jerry. He sent me this seminar. So Jerry, if you're listening to this, thank you. But he sent me a seminar, and this seminar, there's a guy on it by the name of Rick Schramm. Rick Schramm. And Rick Schramm.
Yeah, I think he said something about it.
Yeah, he was the one that says if it's irrelevant, don't talk about it. Just act like it ain't never happened. Yeah. You know, but that seminar really helped me out. But if you can't comprehend legalese, then that seminar ain't gonna do you no good. You're gonna have to study.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to study.
Yeah, I think it do take a while of hearing these terms and going through things over and over to really get what it means. Because, like you said, you got 3 different court rules that could be in play. You got all their little games that they want to play, and then you got your ignorance of the situation. You're all the way around. The chips are stacked against you, but if you're able to get some traction, yeah, you can affect. You can make them start doing things.
Yeah, you can. I've learned that when you sue them, even if you lose, when you sue them, that is very effective. Very, very effective.
Yeah. Well, you're making them spend money. You're making them do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Yeah, you costing them money. So they'll leave you alone. Now, I don't know if I told you all this. I probably did, but I've been stopped numerous times with active KBS warrants, told I had warrants and let go.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one right there because I'm battling multi-jurisdictions and multi-agencies. Yeah, they had it out for me.
Man,
so
look.
they sent the whole dog squad on me.
Man, you gotta pick your battles, man. Like you gotta pick your battles because I said pick your battles wisely.
Yeah, but when you poor and indigent, don't got no other way, you back into a corner.
Yeah,
everything's a battle.
True that. You're right.
And the way they've been showing me is that they don't like no smarty on. You trying to go up there and you think you know about your right? They will attack you just for that.
Yeah,
they arrogant.
They hate us,
They
man.
think you don't know nothing. Oh, they're gonna hit you.
They behave, man. Them folks real haters, man. They behave, man.
Yeah, they are a different beast of people. They will crush a baby that's on the ground crying. That's what kind of people they are. I hate to be descriptive like that.
I don't doubt it.
They don't care about nothing but their pockets.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all, man. What was I gonna say? When is your next court date?
Well, that's what I'm waiting for now. Is that once I put the my ejection motion in, the way it works in circuit court is you got to put a motion, and the judge will have to set a court date to hear your motion, especially when it deals with default judgment order.
Okay. So
I guess it's the last ditch effort for the defense.
Okay. I'm guessing you filed a complaint. They demurred by filing a motion to dismiss.
I filed a civil tort claim because in my state of South Carolina, I wasted 2 years of my life thinking that I'm not going to file a lawsuit in state court because it's the state agency that is infringing my rights. I'm going to go straight to the district court and I'm going to put the dogs on it. I'm going to go all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
And what that did was waste 2 years of my time because in the state, we got this thing called the Tort Claims Act. When you read this act, it's basically the federal courts, I guess, got tired of all these frivolous cases being filed, and they forced the state to give a remedy for these civil rights disputes.
Okay.
Now, if you go through the remedy for the state tort claims and you don't get no resolution, then bring your case to the federal court. So I'm just now learning that now. So now I'm in state circuit court.
Okay.
And this is my first tort claim.
Okay. What's the
and basically,
go ahead.
Basically, it's still a lawsuit, but it's almost kind of like car insurance in a way when you're dealing with these individuals to make them liable.
Yeah.
Because what you're suing for are civil rights. So it's kind of like a 1983, but given their, I guess, insurance policies. And that's another thing I want to say too. You gotta make sure you go after the right insurance as well.
Yeah,
because I did some FOIA requests on the surety bond, and the Secretary of State did give me policies, but these policies were not a third-party civil liability policy. These were for the state to go after those employees who owe those. So they like to play games like that too, give you something that you think you got and it's not the right.
Yeah, they'll do that. I had an attorney do that to me. He gave me everything that I asked for except for one. I mean, he didn't give me nothing I asked for. You know, let me rephrase that. He did. He gave me everything except for the one piece of paper that I needed. That's what he did.
Yeah, and some of those are policies that were added to the insurance coverage for particular people and for particular things. So they're the same policy, but they're just these little bitty sub coverages. Yeah, he probably didn't give you the one that you needed.
Yeah, that's what he did. They test you, man. They like to test you and see if you if you know what they did.
And if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing.
Because I did get hold with the omnibus office, and the lady I was speaking to was basically the lady I needed to get hold of in the first place. And she didn't say it, but she did say it. You know what I mean? Well, I'm the person that deals with that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what's the policy number?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're dealing with it now. Okay. So you got to know what you're kind of asking for and dealing with these people.
Yeah.
Like they will definitely lie to your face.
Yeah. You like people don't understand, man. Like people think that they are dealing with an actual government. That's what they think. You are dealing with corporations.
Oh no.
You're dealing with agents and officers and employees of corporations.
Contractors.
Yeah, that's what they are.
And family family members.
Yeah. Yes, man, that's what they are,
And
man.
see,
I was shocked.
I'm in deep water because the family court judge that put a fraudulent order on me for child support because I refused to agree and sign a voluntary parental agreement because the state didn't have a cause of action to be intruding in my private affairs being a parent.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did is try to defraud me by holding a conference, a negotiation conference, and to get me to sign something to waive my rights. Now I said, no, kick rocks. I'm not signing nothing. The judge decided to say, well, I'll just default you anyway and put the motion in. What I failed to do was understand, one, who this judge was, and two, how to appeal this decision.
Mm-hmm.
This judge that did this is married to one of the leading civil rights attorneys, not only in the state, but in the city where I live. And he's well known.
That's
So when you
great.
start stepping on those type of toes, no attorneys want to deal with you. They all know that personally, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, yeah, you better wrap it up. No one's about to, I've been told that. And it's true. It's true. Like everyone I deal with kind of know who I am. They kind of get a gist of who I am, and they all kind of side against me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I believe
really weird.
I've had attorneys tell me
Yeah.
this is when I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to sue a judge, and I didn't know how to do it. So I started calling attorneys to see if they would help me, and none of them would help me. Like one of their clerks told me that no, we don't sue judges because our attorneys have to go before these judges, and they just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. It should be like that, but that's the way it is.
It's a conflict of interest for them because they all are bar members, even the judges.
Yeah,
Judges are bar members, especially if they're magistrates. Magistrate judges are nothing but attorneys.
All of them are,
And
man.
once you understand that and you go look at their bar number, you kind of got them by the short hairs because now you're proving, look, you're part of a private entity or organization that has nothing to do with the law. Well, let's put it like this, it has nothing to do with your rights or protecting your rights.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are all paid members of a society that goes against people like us that have rights. And they're the ones that actually write all the court rules and procedures throughout the decade.
Yeah,
they're the ones that organize and control that.
You're right.
So when you try to go after these judges, not only do you have Stump versus Sparkman, which is a Supreme Court ruling that's protecting all these judges. Basically, what that ruling did, Denzel Washington can act like the federal judge in the movie. He will qualify for judicial immunity. That's basically what that case does. Anybody acting like a judge.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. And
it's like, wait, what?
These people they are not judges. They are executive administrators. They are administrative law judges. That is what they are. These people are sitting in and they dressing like judges, they talking like judges, and they acting like judges, but they not judges.
They not. Especially when you go to federal court, you're not going to get a federal elected judge right off. You're going to get the magistrate who's acting like a gatekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And this gatekeeper is not your friend. No. Not at all, not at all, not at all. You can even not sign the waiver to have the magistrate in your case, and that magistrate will still ignore that and get all up in your case.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a magistrate try to put in a report and recommendation to have the case dismissed, that's when you immediately respond with the Trinity versus Pagliaro case because they are not a party. They even say it in their statement. They are not party. These are just a recommendation, and you got to head off their argument from the jump. You got to object to it.
Yeah, well, you can. I think you got 14 days, if I'm not mistaken, to object to a report and recommendation of a magistrate judge. But generally speaking, these are because these are administrative agencies. That's what I call. I don't know what I call them agencies. I don't really call them courts. They're agencies. That's what I call them. But because these are administrative agencies and they were created by Congress, Congress has delegated. They created that magistrate office, and and they create the procedures that the magistrate judge is supposed to do. I honestly had a good magistrate judge. I'm not gonna even lie. Like I was shocked. I was shocked. I'm speechless right now. I was shocked at the magistrate judge I had. He treated me, in my opinion, he treated me very fairly. He didn't tell me um anything that I needed to know about the law. But when I was right, he did rule in my favor most of the times. He was the one who actually ordered these their attorney to tell them to file me affidavits with their financial information on it, because he didn't want to give it to me. Their attorney, he didn't want to give it to me. So the magistrate judge ordered him and ordered them to release that information to me.
I'm glad you said something about that, because I kind of wanted to ask you about that when I first heard you talk about that. Now, when you do their financials and you start requesting and put subpoenas in, when can you do that? Is that part of the discovery phase?
Yeah.
Or is that when you first start off? Can you just do it in your complaint?
No, you do it in your discovery phase. Discovery is where you get all of the evidence that you need. The whole purpose of discovery,
and all that.
The whole purpose of the discovery is for you to get all of the evidence that you need and use it against them. And that's what they're gonna do to you. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. So like I don't know I think I told y'all that this particular attorney, he filed what they call a shotgun plea. He filed like 4 of them. Like it was just constant, back to back. So I filed a motion to strike this shit because I got tired of it. And the judge, he was like, he understood what I meant, but at the same time, because he wasn't bound by precedents, he didn't rule in my favor. He waited until after discovery had closed, and then he ordered their attorney to substantiate his claims for his affirmative defenses, such as state agent immunity, qualified immunity, and stuff like that. So he was a pretty decent judge. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked, man. I'm shocked. I just thought
you made it further than most. When you start getting to that point, you make it further than most. Because that's what I'm saying. When you pro se, they trying to get you out of there before the discovery phase, and that's what I mean. If you pro se, you don't leave until after the discovery phase. That's a requirement. They trying to trick you and make you think. If they don't put an affidavit, if there are no facts from the defense at all, they can't dismiss the case against the pro se litigant. They just can't. If
the complaint fails to state a valid cause of action, they can.
Well, But if you do have a cause of action, they still haven't responded or put anything on the record, you can't motion to dismiss until there's an affidavit.
Yeah, you can't motion.
That's what the 12B6 actually states. You can't dismiss the case.
Yeah, you're right.
So therefore, you buy yourself some time by cutting them at the ankles when they try to do that to you. Plus, you make them look stupid on the record.
They ain't gonna like it. If they
ain't gonna like it, but you that's a win for you. If you could survive that 12B6 motion or any type of dismissal, and you could still make it the discovery, you actually doing good.
Yeah, you are.
Me anyway.
That's
about as far as I got.
If you
I'm gonna keep it 100.
I got you. If you file a complaint and it has valid causes of actions in it, they're not gonna file no motion to dismiss because they're gonna lose. The reason why they can't file a motion to dismiss because the court has to take all of the allegations and construe them as true in light and in favor of the non-movement, which is you.
In favor of the plaintiff.
Yeah. So
and see, I'm speaking on my own mistakes as well, because before I even seen your formatting, because that's another thing. It's one thing to understand your rights it's the one thing to understand about all these other stuff like rules and stuff. But what nobody understands is how to write like an attorney, how to format the stuff, how to set it up. And that's where you come in. You hit that nail on the head.
Man, you keep that shit simple.
Everybody how
simple, straight to the point. Simple and straight to the point.
Yeah, it's simple. And that's what I was missing for 2 years. No one out there. I didn't have enough money to get on Pacer. I didn't have enough time to go downtown and go in the law library. I was winging it.
Yeah.
And you can't just wing it when you're in federal court. You just can't.
One thing about federal court, man, them motherfuckers follow the rules. They follow the rules. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked, man. Cause I tell people this all the time. Like I'm shocked that I won that case because I wasn't supposed to do that without an attorney. I'm shocked.
Yeah. I'm still trying to get that underneath my belt. I'm trying to get my one win. But like I said, they standing on the banks of the water laughing at me because they see I'm trying. They see I'm getting close too. You know, I just jumped off the deep end and just swam without no life jacket. So, man, I gotta do me.
I did that a couple of times.
Ain't nobody gonna pay it.
So it is what it is, man. I did it a couple of times.
But yeah, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you do because in reality, all your time that you're putting in this, it might not seem like nothing right now, but in the future or for like certain individuals, little things is gonna snap for people. And that's what I believe in this. I can't win by myself. But if everybody else start to win, that's when we're gonna start seeing change. They can beat up on one person, but they can't beat up on 100 people.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's where we've always been lacking in the ghettos, in the poor, in the poverty. That's where we always been lacking is to stick together.
I agree. They stick together, even if they don't agree. They gonna stick together, man.
Oh yeah. I just lost a small claims. It had to do with my transmission in my car. It was a little small claims little thing. But that little judge, he was biased from before he even started talking. And I lost that case, and I shouldn't have lost it. But I know what I'm doing, and that just answered my question. I'm affecting y'all. I'm making y'all mad enough to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you?
So now I see I'm applying the pressure. I'm gonna keep my foot on that pressure.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Keep my foot on your neck until I see, like you said, some money. When you start costing money, you don't want to look at me no more.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
What do you think you need help with?
Well, see, this is the thing. Now that I'm outside of district court, the only case I have hidden out of there, it already went to the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals. Okay. Now, basically, they just dismissed the case because they just really didn't want to deal with it. But now that I'm outside the state, I don't know if this other state gonna look at it differently and kick it back down.
Maybe.
Now, if they kick it back down, now I got some more knowledge. Now I know how to navigate the case a lot better. Okay. But I don't know how that's gonna go. And that's dealing with getting stopped without a license plate on my vehicle. And when the cop come to my car, I immediately try to hand him my attorney's card. And I said, at this time, I plead the fifth. I don't want to self-incriminate right now. And the officer called back up because he had a sovereign citizen. Now, there's a problem with that. You either arrested me because I had no license plate, which is not an arrestable offense, or 2, you arrested me for exercising a right, which sovereign citizens don't do.
Yeah. Hey, man, look.
So.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the legal question there is, what's the crime? To me, that's what I'm trying to separate traffic civil infractions from criminal probable cause. And I think that's where they be manipulating and misinterpreting the law to manipulate us to give up information and to get us to waive whatever rights we have off the jump.
Do you remember when I was telling you that traffic tickets, they call them quasi-criminal?
Yeah, quasi-criminal, and it's not criminal if there's no standing party of damages.
Yeah, but they treating it, the reason that they're treating it like it's criminal is, to justify these traffic stops and all that shit, man.
Oh yeah.
That's why they're doing it.
See, already seeing that it works if you don't allow them to approach you in a voluntary act. Because what they do is the courts already said that a cop can start talking to you without probable cause or anything. It's just
that's their
what they
consensual
call
encounter.
a consensual a conversation.
A consensual encounter, yeah.
But so when they're pulling you over, let's say for traffic violations, that is still the same thing. They are coming to your door and trying to have a consensual encounter, because one thing they don't have is criminal probable cause.
I agree.
Now, they have that quasi criminal probable cause. Still, they lack a damaged party.
I agree.
And if they lack the damaged party,
I agree 100%.
Yeah, if they lack the damaged party in their court, you have a state magistrate judge overseeing a case where the plaintiff is a state employee, cop, state trooper, or what have you. That's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
That's like going into a situation when you're outnumbered. Of course, you're going to rule in favor of the cop.
I agree, man.
You got revenue.
I agree, man. They suing. They suing you, man, and all those sticking together.
Now, I try to stay away from all the sovereign citizen. I try to stay away from that because, and what I see is there's a push to push everyone into one category of one thing. Now, when I dealt with this, it was that sovereign citizen is defined by the federal government as a terrorist. Now, when they start talking like this, now you gotta pay attention. Now you gotta start applying yourself and get yourself away from what they're talking about and apply yourself into what you really are. Because if they start calling you terrorist, sovereign citizen, there's something you did and said that makes them do that.
Man. I told I think it was one. I don't know if it was a police. I think it was a police officer or something like that, or a judge or something. When they told me that, I said, don't call me that. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you. Don't call me that. You calling me a terrorist. You trying to assassinate my character. You trying to defame me. Don't do that. I'm gonna sue your ass.
That's the same with the quasi. That's the same with the quasi criminal. You criminalizing something that's not criminal. I'm not a criminal. I know what a criminal is because I made it out of the criminality. I don't make it out of Southern California around the gangs, drugs, and violence to move to a different state and start becoming a felon and start going, no.
They just making this shit up as they go, man. They doing that shit to justify stopping you, man, with that traffic ticket shit, man. All these traffic infractions such as like speeding, merging into a lane without a traffic signal, no seat belt, license written, all that shit they doing that shit just to justify stopping you, because they really arresting you for real. For a traffic stop is an arrest. You don't have to be put in handcuffs.
Once those blue lights come on,
you arrested.
That is an arrest.
Yeah, you arrested. Soon as they turn them lights on, you arrested.
An arrest, the way the law looks at it, you are under arrest if you feel like you're under arrest.
Yeah, a reasonable person.
The importance of the question is, am I free to go?
Would a reasonable person
on the record to say no?
Yeah, would a reasonable person feel like that she or he is free to leave? You don't even have to. They don't even have to say yes or no. You could just do it by based on what happened. Like, let's say you got 2-3 officers, they surrounded you, your back is against the wall, one of them got their hand on their gun, they talking to you in an aggressive tone. A reasonable person, in considering all of those facts, can reasonably conclude that she or he is not free to leave. So you detain.
Exactly. And some bad things about to happen.
Yeah, man.
Anyone else around there on their gun.
They turned out their cameras now. Somehow their cameras just don't work no more now.
Oh yeah, I had lost another case that had to deal with the live PD footage. And in my state, they had just passed a law in 2016 that they must store all the body cam footage for at least 2 to 3 years. I forget what it was. But the live PD, they destroyed the episode. They destroyed all the footage that dealt with my case.
Wow.
And so did the sheriff's department. So when I tried to motion for this, the court actually said, well, the law was just passed and it's not long standing, so they have a pass.
Man.
And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? They just like in real time covered up a crime and destroyed evidence. You just gonna rule, and that's what they do.
You know what they did. The judge know what they did, man.
Oh yeah, they know what they did, and I even got the sheriff deputy committed perjury in that case. It's just I left it alone. I could have went after him, but I left it alone.
Yeah, they'll wear you out, man.
You gotta pick your battle.
Yeah, they'll wear you out, man. They'll wear you out.
Yeah.
That's why I settled my case. I was tired, man.
Out. But no, I enjoy like even taking all the information you get because you on that 1983. I'm just now learning the state courts. I've been on the state court. I've been on property taxes, the IRS code, all that stuff. Because what I'm arguing is they are lying to you.
Yeah.
And when they lie to you, they're just trying to see how smart you are. If they call you a taxpayer and you don't respond in kind, guess what? You're a taxpayer.
Yeah.
If you are a person, they call you a person, you are a person if you don't object.
Yeah.
So understand who you are. If you buy a piece of land, it's your living dwelling. You don't owe no bank. You don't know nobody. You hold the deed to it. Mm-hmm. There is no reason for you to be getting a tax notice from the assessors because for the state assessor to do an assessment on your property, he has to own the land or there has to be a public interest involved since he works for the state.
If
you're the deed holder, how?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Huh?
No, go ahead.
If you're the deed holder, how is anybody going to tell you what to do with your land? How is anybody going to attach a fee to it if you're the owner?
Yeah.
So that's the scam. They automatically are taking land and claiming it because by law, no land can sit empty or abandoned. So let that marinate. No land can sit empty or abandoned. So if there's no claims on it, someone makes a claim on it, guess what? It's theirs by law. So what the state does is they claim all the land until someone makes another claim on it.
Well, this is a corporation. Honestly, like how it's set up as it's supposed to be set up as a trust, and everything, the land, the water, the fish, the trees, the dirt, the minerals, whatever, all of that stuff is held in trust. The land and all that is held in trust. So this is what people's problem is, man. They can't distinguish or they can't see that they are not dealing with public, like they're not dealing with public servants. These people are officers. This is a corporation you're dealing with, and they can't seem to distinguish that. But these are corporations that you're dealing with, man.
And what they do in my state, or you'll have one official who took the oath, he got an oath of office, and he's got insurance for any civil liability. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, everyone that works under him is covered under him. Mm-hmm. Now, if his lower minions violate your rights, you don't go after the minions, you got to go after him who holds that oath. Mm-hmm. It's called a respondent superior.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You got to hold the supervisor liable for the insubordinate or the insubordination of the ones that work under him. So the assessor's office, the deeds office, the records office, those all are controlled by your state treasurer or the county treasurer. So that's who I went after. In my claim, I went after the treasurer. Now, he didn't physically do those things, but he's responsible by his supervisor role. He's the one that got the insurance. He's the one that got the duty and the oath owed to me. So that's another thing. You got to realize who it is that's really screwing you.
Yeah.
It even happens with law enforcement too. Like Like the sheriff's department might have a different insurance coverage than your local police department.
Yeah, you're right.
It might be different for the state troopers.
You're right.
So it's really you got to know who you messing with first before you start throwing blows.
They hid these buns, man. They hid them real good, man.
Oh yeah. And you're right. I went to the Secretary of State, but when I went to the risk management office, she disclosed to me that under the county I live in, all the county bonds are there. They're all individual bonds. And I'm like, well, what's that mean? And she's like, well, I can't give you legal advice. I'll have to get an attorney. Like, all right. So you see how they do? You just like, you can tell me what you want.
Do you know what she meant when she said that?
She basically says she's the one I need to talk to make a claim with. Under anybody that works under Richland County or her county. You can actually,
she should be, if you request a copy of those bonds, she's a public servant by law. She should be obligated to give you a copy of that insurance.
Yes, all my FOIA requests that I put in with her, I got many. So yeah, she gave me those. But my open case right now is the treasurer. She just basically say, oh yeah, that's the, we'll wait till the case goes forward. So she want to wait the case out a little bit further, which I think she might end up coming at me with some type of settlement agreement, because if the court rules that he failed to respond, I win my case.
Okay, so you trying to get a default judgment?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a default now. But if it goes further, I mean, I don't see how much further it can go, because once he put any affidavits down on the record, guess what? Everybody can learn what the actual law on taxation of your private land is. Because mind you, I asked these people before suing them. They just didn't want to respond. They want to act like I don't know what I was talking about. And I'm like, well, you need to tell me the law that gives you the authority to tax my property, or I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah. How you gonna tax a right? Like, you have a right to own property. You say you have a right to own property.
See, this is the thing. Nobody know how to apply it. This is what I did. The Fifth Amendment requires that if the state or the public was going to take your land, it must be for public use, and you must be compensated.
Just compensation.
Then the 14th Amendment requires that if they are going to take your land for public use, you are required due process in order to have
That's
it.
Right.
So if they violate those two things, they violated two of your protected rights. You can't go from A to Z and start taxing people without going through those processes. And in order for you to tax, you must have the authority to do so. And if the authority comes in when you took possession of the land for public use.
So they owe you.
People don't understand that. They think, oh, I got to. I got so tired of people telling me, oh, you got to pay taxes. But you can't tell me the law. Oh, I'm about to figure this out. I'm about to file it. Okay, I'm about to get the answers. Because I'm tired of people telling me, oh, you got to. No. That's not how it works. I bought this land fair and square, and now you're trying to take it.
It's easy. Like, if you're going to pay a tax, you shouldn't pay taxes on the same property indefinitely. That shit don't even make sense. If you're gonna pay a tax,
what it is it's a fee. It's Pennsylvania versus Murdoch. The state can't attach a fee and a license to something and force you to follow it. Basically, they're charging you for your right.
Yeah, you can't tax rights though. You know what I'm saying?
No, you can't.
You can't tax rights.
You gotta look at your. Now, this is what people get confused on. Now, if you go out there and you go get a mortgage, you go out there, you go rent your house out, you go get loans to pay for things. Okay, now you moved into a taxable bracket.
Yeah, you did.
When you start going get in the fence, when you start working contracts out, including other people, including the state, oh yeah, you're gonna pay taxes. But if you don't have any income coming in at that property, you're not selling anything, it's just like you're living above, they cannot tax that.
Yeah.
No.
I believe. No. I believe. When you can do business privately, like you can do business privately with other individuals. I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. The tax liability comes in when you start using, I would say, anything that's either negotiable instrument or at least Federal Reserve notes. It's easy to avoid paying tax.
Yeah, but for the assessor, the treasurer, anybody that's going to be taxing you, guess what they need to have? They have to have record that you are a business.
Okay.
You have to go apply for a license to do business in the state.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, you do.
So once you get that business license, now they attach the tax to that. But if they ain't got no business license to tax, there ain't no tax to tax. You get how they doing the fraud? It's a difference between private and public. And when you think about public is business. Oh, I got rentals. Oh, I rent that land to hunt on, or you making some type of profit and gain. That means you worked out contracts with the state. You made agreements with the state, and guess what? Comes taxpayer.
Yep.
Comes person.
Yep. It's all contracts.
If you own your own private land, guess what it's called? Fee simple absolute. All anybody gotta do is Google fee simple absolute. It tell you right there.
I'm gonna check that out. I think I remember you telling me that one day, man. I'm gonna check that out, man.
Yeah, fee simple absolute is the land that you want. And guess what all the rich white folks do?
What's that?
All these wealthy white cats from like your King Charles and Elizabeth. And guess what all these wealthy white folks do with all the money and all the possessions? They have a living trust.
I believe.
How do people pass down wealth? They put it in a living trust because guess what? It's not going through a probate.
Sure don't.
Lawyers aren't attached to that.
Sure don't.
It goes straight to that person.
Yep.
And guess what? It's off the record. Everything in that living trust is off the record. It goes straight to those people.
Yeah.
By law. And the state, nobody can do nothing about it.
Pretty much. You're right.
What do poor people do? Poor people use a living will or a probate. And guess what that do? As soon as you get a will, 6 months of a will does nothing but pay attorneys. Because for 6 months, they got to put your property out there to see if there's any liens.
Yep.
So you pay them for 6 months to do nothing but sit around.
And you got to pay creditors.
For 6 months after everybody taxed it, whatever's left, they throw it to the family members and they fight after it.
Yeah, you got to pay those creditors too. You got to pay all those debts, everything.
All the taxes, all the court
Yep.
fee or the attorney fees, it don't make no sense. Why we don't understand this, being poor communities or people that don't have that, how we can't keep nothing in the family. And that's part of understanding what real estate law is. You gotta know what you actually got. I've heard things like you gotta get a land patent, you gotta get a loyal title, the only tax that's taxing people right now is called a ad valorem tax. An ad valorem tax is a commercial term to tax commercial property. That's all it is.
That's a Latin term, man.
Simple. Huh?
Is that a Latin term?
I think so. Ad valorem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Latin term. But I forget what case it is offhand. I think I shared it with you once. Even it was a wealthy gentleman leaving his estate to his son. And the way the state had looked at it was that they used the terms the son was considered a natural person. So therefore, the taxation statutes didn't apply to that particular tax. So therefore, the son got the property or the estate.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the natural person, that's who you want to be in a taxation bracket. You don't want to be the taxpayer. You want to be the natural person that's being the contract, don't have nothing to do with commercial anything. Mm-hmm. I'm over here in my private. See, you got to separate the two. But I don't know if you got to put that on record. I'm about to find out. Like, you got to put your deed and file it with, a certain court and make these claims. I just did it.
Man,
we about to find out.
Gotcha. I got you. Let me ask you a question, man. Did you ever purchase a copy of my book?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you. Remember I sent you some funds, some little extra funds for two?
Oh yeah, that's right. What?
I got it before it was a draft, I think. I think I got you the first copy ever sent.
Oh, okay. I think you gave me a review on it too. I remember. Yeah, you did. I remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like somebody gave.
Yeah, I was the first one that you dealt with on that.
Appreciate it.
And like I said, the way you feel, like, because I look up a lot of, I deal with a lot of YouTube professors. I go to like law professors. A lot of law professors out there, different states.
I do too.
Hold these online seminars. They'll be like maybe 2 hours long, but they'll be real life school professors.
Yeah, I do it too.
Stuff. And
I do the same thing.
Was dealing with real estate and state law. And that's how I found out what a fee simple absolute was and how these taxations apply to people of private and in public. You got to separate the two.
Okay, since I got you on there, what's the distinction between like a the public tax and the private tax or whatever? Is there? Well, you probably can't. There's probably no distinction. Because I don't even think there is a private tax.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The distinction is whether or not you have profits or gains.
Okay.
If you're making profits or gains, you in the public.
Okay.
If you're a liquor store, if you got 5 houses that you're renting out to people, if you're making any type of money off of your private property, you are in the public domain. You are taxable.
Okay.
You just doing a little you got a little garden in your backyard, your grandpappy done built you that family house, it's been in your house for like generations. Yeah, you don't pay taxes on that.
Okay,
that should be your argument.
What's the distinction between profit and gain? Because and the notes too. So the term profit and gain, they have to be different terms. I don't think they're synonymous.
It's income. You got to think about it as income.
So gain.
Because only
Go ahead.
Yeah, a gain and profit, that's some type of income.
Okay.
And when it's an income made off of a commercial venture, selling, when you sell something in the state, you got to apply sales tax. You got to apply federal tax. You know what I mean? You got to get into those brackets and contracts of doing business. And then that's where all the taxation and all that starts to come in. Once you start getting and applying for any type of business, any type of benefits, anything like that is going to put you in a taxing bracket of any type of commercial venture of income, gains, money, fees.
Those are all taxes, though.
And you no longer,
I said, fees, court costs, fines.
Yeah, that's all tax.
Yeah, they're all taxes. They just word it out.
See,
that's crazy.
On my case, when I file all my cases, I'm a former pauperous. I don't pay fees. Matter of fact, I got an argument with the court clerk the other day because she was like, "Oh, when you do a motion for a default, you gotta have a cover page and all this other court rule lingo that I didn't do." And I'm like, "Well, I didn't know that, man. They don't say that in the rule." And she was like, "Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you a former pauper. Oh, yeah, we waive the fee. Okay, here go the cover page. Just fill this out and then we'll file." So it was like, she didn't understand, but you see how once you get that passed, I didn't have to pay nothing. So if I don't have to pay nothing, that just shows the opposite of paying.
Yeah.
You get me?
I got you.
They want you to have money. If you got money, you pay it. So like that. If you poor, how can you pay? And if I own my land and I'm poor and that's all I got, why do I gotta pay you?
Yeah, they slick, man. These people are very slick. They piss me off with this word game, man. All these words, you have to look up every damn word when you're dealing with these people, man. Because they just playing word games.
I would say like this. every law they made, they broke it. They benefited from it. They made profits from it.
I agree.
They understand it inside and out. That's why it's a law. They said, ooh, we got to stop other motherfuckers from doing this. Was that DL Hughley joke about the mayor that got caught doing crack, but he also signed a bill to try to do drug tests and other motherfuckers?
Yeah.
But it's the kind of same concept. Like they know what laws to make because they already making profits off of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I hate to say it, but I almost want to gear my kids in the direction of being a judge. Like those are the most untouchable people.
Man.
Those are the most powerful people. Like, man, I can't imagine what type of boy, my head would be so big, bro. Like, you can't touch me.
Man, how many cases?
And if you did,
how many cases have you read on judicial immunity?
Stump versus partner.
It's
just
bad.
That one because
it's bad.
Because when they hit me off with that one, I haven't found anything that overturned that case.
It ain't.
Basically, that's the universal go-to for the judge.
It ain't like
I haven't found anything. The only thing they say is that if the judge acted with absolutely no jurisdiction, and I think that applies to no actions done like a judge. So that means if I'm in the executive branch and I'm acting like a pretend magistrate up in this little quasi court, I still get immunity because I'm acting like the judge. It don't matter if I don't have subject matter jurisdiction, I'm still acting. My actions are protected.
Well, they
and that's a hard.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's hard to defeat because I think when they mean by acting with absolutely no jurisdiction, I look at it like this. If you was at the grocery store and you ran across Judge so-and-so, and you like, man, I don't like you, Judge. And he's like, I don't care. And he threw a bottle at you and bust you side your head. Now, he is not protected. He just assaulted you. That wasn't a judicial act.
Yeah.
Now he applies to the law.
That's correct.
But if they got that robe on and he's looking at you funny all day at court, then he asks you all kind of funny questions of discovery like an attorney and doing all this, packing stuff off from the bench and being malicious, he's still protected.
Yeah.
He's going to go, oops. And all his colleagues going to be like, oh, yeah, he said oops.
I don't think people,
your life is right. He said oops.
I don't think people really understand how bad judicial immunity is. That shit is terrible. I've read a lot of cases.
All immunity.
I've read a lot of cases on judicial immunity. And them motherfuckers got carte blanche to do damn near whatever the fuck they want.
Whatever they want to.
It's bad,
supposedly
man.
The Supreme Court just yesterday or today had made a ruling on what was it when they take their property, civil forfeiture.
Yeah,
they just made a rule. I was watching another professor this morning. He was talking about it, and I was like half asleep still, but it was a major win on civil forfeiture. I want to say that case was from yesterday, but it's like almost they waived qualified immunity. So now it's easier to come at police officers and all these people trying to get qualified immunity.
Are you talking about in relations to a civil asset forfeiture case?
Yeah.
I have to go and read
so
that.
Now, yeah, it was just yesterday or today. I can't think of the name of the case, but it had to do with qualified immunity. And all I can remember was that the state cannot take your property if you did not go through any type of due process. I guess that was the ruling. Like, you know how they just like pull you over and you got like $10,000 cash? They're like, oh, that's a type of drugs. And
they just take it, yeah.
And then you battle to try to get it back and they don't want to give it back. Well, the court ruled that in order for them to keep it, they have to have went through due process. There wasn't any due process, and it was just taken. Guess what? You gotta give it back now.
Yeah, that's private property.
You don't get immunity for taking.
That's private property.
Yeah,
man.
so they just ruled on that recently, so that might be a big win.
Oh, I see what I think I see what you're saying now. I think I see what you're saying now because it is private property, and they can't. The only time they can take private property, is either with your permission, some shit like that, or what's that, just compensation? But how the fuck you gonna give me some money for my money? Like, come on, that shit don't even make sense. But
yeah, it was a Fourth Amendment violation.
Yeah, that's private property. Anytime, I don't think people understand what property is. Like your skin is your property, your fingernails is your property, your spit, your saliva, your semen, your eyeballs, your organs, your tongue, your hair,
your land,
yeah,
land.
Your rights, yeah, your organs, everything, all of that is property. Your right to own property, your right to use that property how you see fit is property. That's
Look at that dude up in Idaho, the dude that killed them 4 students. They got him because he threw away something with the DNA on it, and the FBI came, picked it up, tested it, and guess what? We found out that you murdered these 4 people.
Crazy. It's property,
That's
man.
how they got that food.
I'm gonna have to find that case you're talking about, though. I think I need to.
Yeah, it was just yesterday or the day, bro. I was listening to it this morning, and I remember hearing those words. Ooh, that sounds juicy. I gotta write that down. Every time I hear something good like that, I always try to remember to write it down. I don't always remember, but I do remember that from this morning. I want to say it was Leto's Law.
I'm trying to find it now.
Leto's Law.
I'm looking for it.
He does a lot of cases out of Michigan.
Okay.
But it's a civil forfeiture ruling.
I'm trying to find it right now. I'm gonna post it into the group once I find it. You said it was yesterday. What's the date? Today the 24th? No, today the 25th.
24th, I think it is. It's the 25th?
I think it's the 25th.
Okay.
I think it's the 25th.
Oh, it is. Dang.
Yeah.
These days going by so fast right now.
Yeah, I gotta find that. Yesterday, damn. What's these? No, you said it was yesterday. So damn.
It might have been the 23rd now. It might have been the 23rd.
Okay, I see 2 cases. I see Orlando versus McDonough or something like that. Let me see this. This is no, that ain't it. What is this? Certiorari dismissed, improvidently granted.
I want to say it was out of Ohio. I want to say it was an Ohio case.
Oh, it was an Ohio Supreme Court case. Is that what you're saying?
I want to say it was an Ohio case.
Okay.
Because like I said, it was one of the first things. When I get up in the morning, I do music or I throw on something like that where I got in the background, but I'm not always 100% focused.
Yeah, I got you. I do the same thing.
I'm halfway doing all this other stuff.
I do the same. Let me see. Somebody said something in the chat. I have 2 court dates for the same offense, no registration on different dates. Oh, he's trying to. You can. SG. Yeah, you can. I'm not sure which rule would be applicable to your case, but if I were you, I would just draft like a motion to consolidate or something like that and explain what you just explained here to the court, and see if they'll do it for you. I mean, it's discretionary unless they have to do it pursuant to some statute. But I would do it. I would just file a motion to consolidate the cases and let them know. Make sure you put both of the case numbers in the cases, and if I were a judge, I would grant it. That's what I would do. It would just make sense to grant it. But I don't know. Sometimes they assholes. So let's see. What was I? Let me see. I'm trying to find that case you were talking about, Jose. Opinions of the court. I don't see it nowhere on there.
I'll try to get it real quick right now.
Let me see. I might find. I'm trying to find. This is it. Was that an Ohio Supreme Court case or was that a U.S. Supreme Court case?
I think it was Ohio. It was a state court case.
Okay, that's probably why I can't find it then. Cause I went on the Supreme Court website and I'm looking for it on there and I don't see it on there. Everybody, if y'all just tuning in, if you want to, I'm gonna put the call in number in. If y'all want to call in and ask questions or whatever, we can do that. But the title of the show is called "The Nature of the Action." If you're just tuning in, I was discussing the jurisdiction in which these courts are prosecuting these cases on. It is Admiralty. If you go up, you should scroll. Where is it? I posted it up here. There's this case citation, Williams versus City of Montgomery. This is an Alabama case, but all of these bonds in that case, all of these bonds mimic bonds in Admiralty. This is Admiralty jurisdiction. I also posted a case that tells y'all Admiralty courts are civil law courts. Civil law is statutory law. You're in an Admiralty court in an Admiralty proceeding, and these people are in here doing business with you. That is what they are doing. They are not acting in an official capacity because they are corporations. The state of whatever it is a corporation. So I don't see how. I think they're just lying to folks. What you think, Jose? I think that they're just telling people that these judges or whoever that they're acting in an official capacity. I guess they don't want these people to know. I guess they don't want the people to know that the state of whatever is a corporate entity, because that's what it is.
Well, that's the thing is, like, when you have a corporate entity and you got to represent them, like this one dude was saying, he's saying that what they're basically saying to us is that I represent Mickey Mouse that has no rights, no authority or none of that stuff, and giving power to it. Does that make sense? Because our rights are protected. The 14th Amendment, the Constitution is made for them, not for us.
Exactly. It doesn't apply to you.
It keeps them in check.
Exactly.
It gives them their the cliffs to fall off of.
Uh-huh.
But when they saying, "Oh, I'm representing Mickey Mouse," and you must, this is a summons to come to Disneyland to come deal with the damaged party from Mickey Mouse. I mean, that's basically what the guy was trying to say. Is like, by saying that because they represent a corporate entity or a corporate fiction, they got authority, and that's not the case. Basically, their statement is goofy because we can't do that. They can't go in court.
They don't want people to know what the hell is going on. Like, you know, the name argument. When people go to court, they say, "I'm not the name. My name is not spelled like that," and so on and so forth. That's a valid argument, but they're not gonna honor it because it'll be too easy to beat cases.
And see, that's what this professor was saying. He was saying it's not like he won't acknowledge that argument. What he is saying is pick your argument, because when you go that route, you are not going to find any type of case law that helps you.
You sure not. Even though you would be right, though. You would be 100% right.
Yeah, you would be right, but you also lose.
Yeah.
So it's like, think about how you want to. Now you can have that argument, or you can do another argument. Rule 12b-6. Failure to state a claim goes both ways.
Yeah, in a criminal and a civil case.
Failure to state a claim in a traffic court, you're basically telling them where's your affidavit from an actual damaged party. I believe that's Sherrar B. Cohen.
Yeah,
basically rule what a crime is defined as. You have to have a damaged party of damages.
Yeah, you need a witness, man. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
So if you attack their jurisdiction, there's no need to be attacking the corporate fiction that they're trying to make you into. There's no need to go that route. And that's what he's trying to say. Is like, yeah, you can bring that up, but it ain't gonna really benefit you. It don't give you any. It gave you an empty clip. Mm-hmm. Basically, you just grab the clip and it don't got no rounds in it.
Yeah, you're right.
You can put it in the gun, but it ain't gonna fire.
Yeah, you're right. the argument that I always use.
And that's why.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's why I always stay away from any type of real sovereign citizen stuff. Like, cause back in the day, like unfortunately, I got an NCIC number. I got locked up in the feds back in the day, and what I learned about them is those fools don't mess around.
No, they don't.
You want to mess with criminals? You want to mess with the federal government, U.S. Marshals, and them people.
Mm-hmm.
You think you hard and all that? Go mess with them folks.
Mm-hmm.
I've been shackled to an airplane landing in Seattle, and we was about to crash. you had U.S. Marshals crying because we had to land. It's a federal plane. We got clearance over everything, so we coming in sideways. Everybody's crying. But that just made me think, if we were to crash, you think these cops is about to go swimming after us to save us? We was dead.
Hell no.
Everything they did was to an extreme. The federal government are the biggest crooks on the planet.
Yep.
So you want to go messing with them people? Go right ahead. I tell you a good warning. They will give you enough rope to hang yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And let me say that again. You go messing with them, they'll be like, okay, you get away with that one. Do another one. Do another one. Okay, now we got 10 on you. Now we coming at you, and now we're gonna throw 150 years at you. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna be like, oh my God. And then guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna come back a year later and be like, all right, we're gonna let you play out for 40 years. 40 years or 150. That's why they got a 96 percentile conviction rate for plea bargains.
40 years.
They get you so good, there's no way out.
The feds, they don't come at your ass unless they know they got you, man. Now the state don't know that. They'll come at your ass with no evidence. They just make up shit, man.
Yeah, they try to create cases on you. The feds got you locked in sinker. They know where you at. They know what you're doing. They ain't even probably listen to you on your phone. Mm-hmm. That's how they roll. Yeah. They know everything about you. I believe these new cell phones and all that, they know everything that we do at all times. Everything. I beg to differ if anybody want to say otherwise, but I think they know every damn thing because they got access to all that stuff.
I believe.
And put it like this: when you got people going after that Treasury Direct and going after the accounts and all that stuff,
yeah,
I'm gonna put it to you like this. Someone told me this: you did not create that account. Yes, the government did, but you didn't. Everything attached to that account don't have nothing to do with you. You go trying to touch that account, guess what? There's laws in place for people trying to falsely claim accounts. It's federal crimes. Mm-hmm. And people got convicted over that.
Yeah.
But they don't come early. They let you go spend that money. They let you go do that accepted for value. They let you go buy the RVs and all that. Yeah. You didn't get that now.
Yes. Now, well, some of it is actually real. Like, but you have to know what what the fuck you're doing. But you have
but you gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing, I'm just saying, don't say they're telling you too. If you don't know what you're doing, we're about to hit you.
Yeah.
And let me put it like this. I made it out of the feds unscathed. I'm actually a part of the 6% that beat them. I beat my case. Yeah. But they didn't let me go just like that. I spent 9 months in that. And I still got an NCIC number. When I get pulled over, it's not just one cop. I get a whole little fleet come and they want to put the jewelry on me real quick and they run the, they just don't play games. The only thing that I can say though about them is they at least gonna treat you 100 in your face. Yeah. If you breaking the law, you gonna have to understand you breaking the law, and that's why they're there. If you didn't do it, you wouldn't be standing in front of these fools. But they don't come for you if you didn't do nothing. Just trust that. Trust your boy. They might be watching you, but they don't come after you like that unless you really do some work.
Yeah, I agree. I heard a lot of people say that. A whole lot. I've never been to the feds.
So I just learned this. I learned this. There ain't no such thing as a free meal. There ain't no such thing as you know, everything is, oh, you got to go out in this world. You got to get it. You got to go get it. You can't just take it. And the federal government, that's all they do. They hold this money up for people to come snatch it. The states is doing it. States get subsidies for child support. They get subsidies for everything. The federal government want to come into the state and just tear it up using their money. The states are no different than us people. And when we start trying to grab benefits, guess what? You just waive rights. You just entered into all the things you don't want.
Yeah.
You want nothing from these people.
Yeah.
You want absolutely nothing but to leave me alone. Let's have a mutual agreement. You stay over there, I'll stay over here.
Mm-hmm.
And I live my life out cool. Because I don't like cases. I don't like to be locked up. I don't like to be talked to. I don't like nasty food. I don't like all the damn store. All that life is
straight
bro,
up.
I need the better half of this.
Straight up, man. I'm the same way. I'm the same way, man. Look, you know, my nieces and nephews, they be trying to get me to eat ramen noodles or whatever. And I said, man, I don't eat this shit. I don't eat this unless the only time I eat noodles, man, is if I'm in jail. If I'm not in jail, I'm not finna eat that shit, man. I don't want that shit at all. Yeah, I ate
all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I ate this shit so much in jail. I don't want this shit.
Not even that little bit.
I don't want this shit, man.
Not even a little bit. Bruh,
Yeah.
I was the last time I was in there, I had some money on me, but I was like, I ain't buying none commissary. Man, I bought me a candy bar, kept it pushing. I ain't paying none of y'all. Y'all get money off of that.
Yeah, man.
We all have shares in that stuff.
Yeah, man.
It's a business.
It really is, man. Slavery, man. That's human trafficking, man.
It is. It's human trafficking 100%.
That's human
100%. Wow. But I was shocked. When I went to this last county jail I went to, it's been a while, bro. It's been like at least 15 years since I've been locked up. But this last little stint, it was like, whoa, hold on. Because I'm from Southern Cal. I'm used to gangs, blood, crips. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But when I came out to the South, you had bloods beating up, blood, jumping, blood. It was just like, wait, hold on. Do you even know what the rules is? It was so backwards. And then they was stealing people's commissary. Like, they was really jumping fools for some snacks. They was gonna go get locked down for some snacks. I'm like, no, y'all just doing too much now. See, I got 30 days left.
I'm trying to get the fuck up out of here. Yeah, let me get away from y'all, man. I'm trying to get up out of here.
But yeah, that ain't the business for me. I don't like that. I'd rather be free, broke, poor, and all that than go up in there with a whole bunch of money. You can have that system.
Gotcha. I know what you mean, man. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I don't put. If I'm gonna do the crime, oh, trust me, bro. I'm gonna make sure I'm be sitting in there for something.
Yeah.
But nah, if I'm not doing it, I'm not sitting. Nope. Mm-mm. But shoot, let me get off the phone because I gotta go get me something to eat before everything closed. That's where I live at.
Yeah, all good, man. Well, thank you for calling in, man.
But no, I'm gonna try to get you on the next live. I finally got you for once.
All right. Peace, man.
All right, Supreme. Everybody out there, keep it pushing.
All right. Let's go. Let's see. Okay. Who was it? What was that? SG. SG. If you still watching, did I answer your question? I know I probably did about 10 minutes ago, but it was you were saying something about you had 2 different court dates for the same offense, and you want to know if you can get your dates. You know, if you can get those two different offenses or whatever merged into one date. You can. You just file a motion for I would file a motion to consolidate, and I would just explain that to the court. That's what I would do. I'm gonna get off here in about 5 minutes, y'all. So if y'all have any questions or if you want to talk about anything, just let me know. I have about 4 minutes left on the air, so you can't call into the show unless you want to call in and speak real fast. But as far as the YouTube live, I'm gonna get off here in about 5 minutes. what I'll do. I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna make a little short video. I want to be able to share my screen with y'all so y'all can see this because it's Admiralty, y'all. It is the nature of the action is Admiralty. It's no secret no more. If you want to know, go and read Clerk's Practice. I didn't even read it. I didn't even need to read all of Clerk's Practice to ascertain the nature of the action. What I did was I I read Clerk's Practice up until it mentioned the last bun. It was like I think about 4 buns or whatever. They were all written in Latin, and I went and looked up all of these terms in Latin, and I compared the explanation for those buns to the buns, the statutory buns. Is what I'm trying to say, and they're the same. They're the exact same buns. I have it right here in my book. I wish I could show y'all, but I can't. I can't screen share. But I will. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can post some of this stuff in here. Well, no, I ain't gonna be able to do it. It's too much. I'm not gonna be able to do it. But it's Admiralty. The nature of the action is Admiralty. Next time you go to court, just ask the judge to inform you of the nature of the action, and just watch. Just watch how they do. But you have to do it in a very sophisticated way, or kind of sneaky with it. You got to be sneaky with it. Let me go ahead and end. I'm gonna go ahead and. Okay, somebody else is on there. We got about 2 minutes. We got to make this quick. All right, thank you for calling in. We got about 2 minutes. Calling 3282. What's up?
Peace to God.
Peace, man. Peace.
Hey, real quick. So I got a criminal case. I'm in the pre-trial phase. Right. We've asked for the nature and whatnot. Obviously, they don't too much disclose that. We put in a bill of particulars. The man bill of particulars. They denied that, saying it wasn't legally relevant and whatnot. So we also got trying to get the attorney to sign a contract, swearing that there's no financial incentives, that
90 seconds.
Will produce those rights upon request, but no attorney has signed that, and so we're getting that ineffective assistance to counsel. But I'm just trying to see, after you ask the nature and they don't really disclose that information, how you what more do you do other than just make a record of that fact? Like what else do you do at that point?
You doing the right thing. You need to make a record and just appeal it. Because what are you in circuit court or municipal district? What is it?
60 seconds.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
The state court, superior court.
Superior court. You might be in circuit. You should be in a court of record there. I would just appeal that. We got about 45 seconds left on there. I wish you would have called in a little earlier. We got about 45 seconds left on there, so I'm not going to be able to really answer your question how I want. But just make sure you document everything and just appeal it. That's what I would do. Also, just to let you know, when they violate due process, they lose jurisdiction. They're supposed to lose jurisdiction when they violate. They don't have any discretion to not tell you what the nature of the action is, because that is a right. But they will do that.
So would you move to dismiss at that point if they lose jurisdiction?
Yeah, I would move to dismiss too. Go ahead and pick. They just corrupt.
10 seconds.
They corrupt, man. They're gonna do whatever the hell they want to do. But you're on the right track.
Right.
You're on the right track. But it's about to disconnect right now.
Appreciate you, but when you back online.
Hello?
Yeah, you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. When you back online.
Okay. I'll try to go live a little later this week. I'm not sure. If not this week, it'll be next week. But let's try this weekend. Let's try this weekend about Saturday, same time. We'll try to do it again.
Sounds good. I appreciate you, brother. Peace.
No problem. Peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right. Okay. He was just talking about the nature of that. They're gonna do that, y'all. Because the reason that they're doing that, they don't want to tell y'all that it's Admiralty. That's why they're doing that. They don't want to tell you. They doing business with you, man. The corporation, called whatever the state is, they are doing business with you. An appeal bond is a contract. A plea agreement is a contract. I got videos on my channel showing y'all these cases where all of these judges are saying this shit. It's a contract. They're doing business with you, man. Anytime the state starts engaging in commercial paper with other private citizens, then they are no different than a private citizen. They're doing business with you, man. That's what they're doing. They're contracting with you. And these judges are not acting in an official capacity. They are acting as officers of a fucking corporation. That's what they're doing. And they're suing you for breach of public policy. Again, ask yourself, if the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, does not apply to you, meaning it does not say what you can and cannot do, if that doesn't apply to you, then how the fuck can a statute apply to you? How the fuck can a city ordinance lawfully apply to you? Just ask yourself this shit, man. Ask yourself. It makes no sense. 0 sense. They filing lawsuits against y'all, man. That's what they're doing. And they're doing business with you in a corporate name, just so called. Like if you're in Georgia, the state of Georgia is doing business with you. It's a corporation called the state of Georgia, and they are engaging in commerce with you. They're doing business with you. So that's what they're doing, man. Just like when Yusuf said one day in one of his videos, you don't have to, a fine is not necessarily paid. A tax is not necessarily paid in cash or money or whatever. You know, he was right, because you can go and do community service to pay out fines for the city or whatever. You go do community service and clean up, and they'll just offset your balance with whatever they're paying you per hour for your labor. I don't see how I never thought of this stuff, y'all, but that's what they're doing, man. They're doing business with you. It's Admiralty jurisdiction. It's Admiralty. I'm 100% sure it is Admiralty. Based on these bonds that I've read and compared to the bonds, the statutory bond, it's Admiralty. It's Admiralty, man. They're doing business with you. Anyway, man, that'll be it. I gotta go. I'll try to come back not next week, but this Saturday. I'll try to come. I got a lot going on this week, so I may not be able to make it, but I'll try at the same time. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. The Supreme Litigant is out. Peace, everybody. Let me let y'all see that beautiful picture of Angela Davis. Y'all see that? Beautiful picture. Peace, man.